When we're dealing with uncertain situations, it can feel like our worries are endless. We worry about our jobs and our finances, what others think of us, and what that strange pain in your arm could mean. Ow. And it can really pile up. But I'm sure you've noticed that some people don't feel nearly as overwhelmed. They breeze along as if they haven't a care, and it's like they're immune to worry. What on earth is their secret? Dale Carnegie, the famous author of How to Win Friends and Influence People, also wrote the book we're talking about today. It's called How to Stop Worrying and Start Living, and it covers exactly that. Carnegie tells a lot of stories in the book about how different people conquered their worries. He explains how worry works, where it comes from, and what to do about it. There's a lot in the book, so let's focus on what he says you can do right now to stop worrying and start living. First, I'll share a few of Carnegie's tricks that might help you worry less on a daily basis. After that, I'll take you through 3 of the exercises he teaches to help you stop worrying in the moment. For more great book summary videos, subscribe to our channel and hit the notification button. If you find this video helpful, click the like button and let us know what you think. Before we get into the exercises, let's explore some of Carnegie's suggestions for daily life. These are changes you can make to your mindset and focus to help you stay worry-free. Carnegie explains that when you worry, you're either thinking about the past or about the future. But that's a recipe for disaster because the past and the future are infinite. They contain an infinite amount of things to worry about. Instead of forever thinking about literally everything that could go wrong, Carnegie tells us to stay focused on today. He points out that the Lord's Prayer says, "Give us today our daily bread." And he says there's a reason why it doesn't ask for tomorrow's bread or next week's. It asks for today's bread because today's bread is the only kind of bread you can eat. I feel like eating bread now. When you keep your mind each day on today's bread, you reduce your worries from infinite to manageable. And that's a huge improvement. And if you really want to stop worrying so much, narrow that down even more. Just focus on right now. Carnegie says, imagine an hourglass full of sand. The sand represents our tasks, everything we need to get done. And the narrow neck between the top of the hourglass and the bottom represents the current moment. No matter how much sand there is at the top of the hourglass, only one grain can pass through the neck at a time. And there's nothing you or I can do to change that. In every moment, we can only do one thing. So focus on doing that one thing as well as you can. A busy mind doesn't have room to worry. So when you finish one task, focus on the next one right away. Getting things done will help you feel better about your situation too. According to Carnegie, you can combat your worry even more by choosing to act in ways that help you feel more positive. He makes a big deal of this point. The way you act changes the way you feel. Here's an example. Imagine you wake up 2 hours early one morning. In Universe A, you roll over, pick up your phone, and spend that time scrolling through your socials, your news sites, and your YouTube feed. In Universe B, you sit up, stretch, and go for a shower. You make a nice warm breakfast and eat it outside in the sun. And maybe you go for a little walk. Now, I'm not saying that one of those options is correct, and you should never choose the other one. But you wouldn't feel the same at the end of those 2 hours, would you? In fact, if you were feeling anxious and worried, then choosing Universe B would probably improve your mood. Pay attention to the way your actions make you feel and spend your willpower wisely. You can do it. Some actions will make you feel more open to worry than others. Carnegie says it even more directly. Think and act cheerfully and you will feel cheerful. Okay, I promised we'd talk about some exercises. Let's get into them. Here's the first one. We'll call it relax while you work. Let me explain it. Carnegie says that the way we work is often more tiring than the work itself. When you're doing something, whatever it is, ask yourself, are my shoulders tense? My gut? Am I clenching somewhere? Am I using muscles that have nothing to do with the job? If the answer is yes, then this exercise is for you. Let's do it together right now. I want you to close your eyes and pay attention to how they feel. Really. Are you squeezing or squinting? Are you holding tension in the muscles around your eyes? Let that tension go. Silently tell your eyes, let go, stop straining, relax. And let the rest of your muscles in the face follow along. See, you didn't need that tension to watch this video, but you were holding it anyway, weren't you? Gently, without adding tension back, let your eyes open again. Do you feel a bit more comfortable? Carnegie says that keeping your body relaxed relaxes your mind. Instead of building up stress and tension with everything you do, we need to learn to relax while we work. You can do this exercise for any part of your body at any time. Check in with your muscles throughout the day and tell them to relax. Practice using only the muscles that you need. Okay, that's great, but what if you're watching this video because of something you're worrying about right now? Well, here's the exercise for you. According to Carnegie, when we worry about things that haven't happened yet, it's very hard to figure out how to address them. He says the problem that we're worrying about is often not the real problem. Let me give you an example as I take you through Carnegie's exercise. The first step is to ask yourself, what is the problem? What am I worrying about? Let's say, as an example, I just moved into a new place and have a new roommate. I tried to chat with them a few times, but they don't seem that interested in being my friend. I start feeling anxious about them and I worry that I've done something wrong and start thinking thoughts that I might be a terrible roommate. Now, Carnegie says to ask, what is the cause of the problem? And could that cause be the real problem? In my example, the real problem seems obvious. I'm anxious that my new roommate doesn't like me. When answering the question, what is the cause of the problem? I might dig a little deeper and say, I can't stand the idea that someone doesn't like me. And maybe there's a tendency to blame myself when other people don't treat me the way I expect. I might have a people-pleasing problem. The true root of our worries can often be buried quite deeply, so it can be very valuable to spend some time digging and then ask myself, what is the cause of that problem? What happened in my life to teach me to be this way? This exercise can really teach you a lot about yourself and where your worries are actually coming from. That brings us to the third step. List all the possible ways to solve this problem. Anything you can think of. Let's go back to my example. The me in this world has found deeper roots to her problem, so solutions like just get over it or move out wouldn't actually address the problem. Maybe her best move is to spend some time reflecting on that problem. Maybe it's time to get help with that. Or maybe her worries would be helped most if she regularly reminded herself that she can't read other people's minds. And maybe that roommate seems cold right now because they're stressed, busy, or tired. She could try to have a conversation with the roommate and ask if she's upset with her so that she can stop guessing and worrying about it. And that brings us to the last step of Carnegie's exercise, which is, which option do I choose to solve this problem? Of the many things on my list, what do I want to do? In this example, I might circle a few possibilities. Perhaps I'd ask my roommate what's going on in her head and spend some time exploring my people-pleasing tendencies. Solution found. Worries gone. Voila! Sometimes the things you're worrying about are already happening. You've done your best, you're living in the moment, you've focused on today, but all of a sudden, everything's falling apart. And you're stressed, you're worried, you're freaking out. Of course you are, and that's completely reasonable. But worrying isn't gonna make it better, so what should you do? Well, Carnegie has an exercise for that too. He recommends it for people whose businesses are failing, but it'll work just as well for anything that feels like it's about to collapse. First, sit with a pen and paper and get ready for brainstorming. Answer the following questions as honestly and as fearlessly as you can. Ask yourself, what is the worst that can happen? What is the literal worst case scenario that you're afraid of right now? Is it your business collapsing? Is it homelessness? Is it flunking out of college? Whatever it is, write it down. Trust me, this is going somewhere good. Trust me. Just write it down. Then ask yourself, if that happens, what will I do? Maybe the first answer is that you'll panic or cry or collapse. But then what? Well, maybe you'll assess the situation and then cry some more. And then what? Keep asking that, Carnegie says. Keep asking, and then what? Because eventually, no matter how bad things look, you'll reach the conclusion that everyone who does this exercise arrives at. And that is, you're gonna be okay. Once you realize that, the worries will start to fade away. You can relax because you know you're going to make it even if the worst comes true. Once you're there and you're feeling a little calmer, you can ask yourself, what can you still do now to improve the situation? Make a list. Pick a place to start and get to work. Knock those things out one at a time. Every step forward takes you further away from your worst case scenario. You'll be amazed at how much you can do and how much calmer you'll feel when you approach even your biggest worries like this. And once you get to the idea that you'll always end up mostly okay, you can worry less about the difficulties you'll face in the future. Humans have been worrying since the dawn of of time and will be worrying for as long as humans exist. But no matter who we are and what's going on, we can't just give up. When you find yourself freaking out, try one of Carnegie's exercises. Deal with your worries and start living again. The book has many more tips for managing worries that we didn't have time to cover in this video. If you're interested in going deeper, check out Shortform's guide on how to stop worrying and start living. Shortform makes the world's best guides to non-fiction books, complete with well-crafted short exercises to help you learn faster and remember more. You can get a 5-day free trial and a discounted annual subscription if you go to shortform.com/YouTube. Click the link in the description below and support the author and publisher by clicking the link below to buy the book. And finally, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next short form video. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.